Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be sharing the top three lead generation mistakes that founders are making with LinkedIn that is costing them just the ability to get leads. And I find that it's just these three little things that if you can really shift these mistakes and actually get rid of them, you're going to find it so much easier to be getting leads from LinkedIn. So let's get into it. So the first thing I find that founders are really struggling with is they're not going all in, right? They're not going all in with LinkedIn. And this is a huge problem. And this is often because founders really like to have multiple different streams of sort of leads coming in, right? They like to have leads coming in from just multiple different places and it can all come in and this is going to make them money. And that's great, right? It's a smart thing to do. However, what happens with this is that your attention is spread too thin because you've got attention that is going over, here to maintain this, here to maintain this, here to maintain this, or however many you're doing. And the problem is that when you have that, it means that you can't put enough of your energy into the right places, which means that you're not going to get as many results from all three of these areas, which as a result will just sort of leave you in that situation where you're just wondering if what you're doing is even working to begin with, right? And this is such a common thing, and for me it was similar, right? I thought, okay, well, maybe if I'm not just on LinkedIn but I'm also on different platforms like maybe Instagram, say YouTube, X, and I don't know, Pinterest. Like, I kid you not, I did all of these, right? I did all of these in addition. Obviously, now I'm doing YouTube, but that's just a secondary thing, right? But I came to realize that when I was trying to put all my energy into all these areas and repurpose all my content and maybe send some outreach on these areas, it was really difficult. It was really difficult because the thing is especially obviously for my business, which is primarily, on LinkedIn, I help people with LinkedIn. It was pretty stupid for me to, spend so much time and effort into these places when really I needed to put my energy into here. So that was the first thing because, like I said before, like if you can just get rid of all these other areas, you can use those other areas down the line. But first of all, put your energy into LinkedIn and try and keep it there as your main lead gen source. You're not going to be missing out on other areas because at the end of the day, LinkedIn is actually a really good platform and it pretty much has everything that you need for it. So it's not going to be that much of a problem. So the second thing that actually a lot of people will then have a problem with is using engagement for success, um, and using that as a way to track it. Bearing in mind my handwriting is awful, but deal with it. So the thing is that social media has convinced you that engagement is a really good way to tell how well you're doing. So if you've got 100 plus likes on something, or if someone's got 100 plus likes on something and comments and such, you usually equate that to, they're doing pretty well. But if they've got maybe like 10 or I don't know, potentially even five, then you're like, they're not doing so well. And it's this really twisted thing where it's just simply not true. And this really isn't true at all because I've actually come across a couple people, but one of the people I came across had 15K followers on LinkedIn and had some pretty good engagement. Right, I'm pretty sure it was like 100 plus, or maybe it was around like 80 or something. And he really wasn't making much money at all. Like when I chat with him, and I just found this really, really strange because you'd think that if they've got loads of engagement and loads of followers, that that would be the case. I mean, this is where you have people that are so obsessed with the whole 10K follower thing. For some odd reason, people think that when you hit 10K followers, things change. Not really. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a cool milestone. And I'd be honest, when I hit 10K followers, that would be quite nice as well. But I'm probably also going to realize that it's not really that, big of a thing as I really think it is. And this is the thing with engagement, right? Because a lot of it comes down to, well, who are actually engaging with your content, right? Because the thing is, if I've got 100 people that have commented and engaged with my post that are not my ideal clients, right? That are not my ideal clients, then this right here, there's no point of it, right? Now, yeah, sure, the engagement can push out my post maybe to more people that might be ideal clients. However, if I'm attracting people that just aren't my ideal clients, then why does that engagement matter to begin with? Now, a lot of this engagement side of things is really down to the content you're putting out there and the type of people you're attracting. Because I'll tell you what, a lot of people that have really, like lots and lots of engagement. This isn't all of them, by the way, but a lot of them have lots of engagement because they're giving out lots of broad advice and content that everyone can relate to, and it's also quite fluffy and such, which means that because everyone can relate to it and everyone's pretty much on board with what they're saying, everyone can obviously engage, right? Everyone can make a comment, everyone can say, yeah, I agree with this, right? Or yeah, this is relevant to me. But the problem is that this does not make you money, because this right here is targeting just sort of everyone, right? I mean, this is sort of why the whole like leadership job type of like post on LinkedIn tend to do so well, because everyone on there is on there for that similar reason. So instead, what we want to look for is, okay, well, on the flip side, there's actually people that maybe get 5 to 10 comments, but are actually, getting leads coming in, right? They're actually booking calls. And you wonder, well, that's weird, because you usually think that that's not the case. And a lot of that is coming down to the targeting, right? It's coming back down to the comment, well, like the actual content you're putting out there. Because if you have content that is more specific, in terms of what you're talking about, and also in terms of the people that you're targeting. So, obviously, in terms of your niche as well, that's a really important part. Then, what's going to happen is that this is going to, as a result, it's going to help you get leads. It's going to help you actually make money from what you're doing. And because it's more specific and because it's more niche, yes, your engagement is probably going to be lower than other people's. And that's completely fine, because engagement isn't the metric we're tracking. And and actually being more specific and having that more clear niche is going to go so much further, because you're actually going to be able to make money from what you're doing. And remember, right, you're not here to be an influencer. You're not here to do that. You're here to make money. You're here to make money. That's a dollar sign, by the way. And so when you're creating content, when you're just out on LinkedIn, you don't want to appeal to everyone. You want to appeal to a certain type of person. Now, I'm not saying all your content has to appeal to that specific ideal client. You can have some that's broader, but your messaging, like your offer, your profile, your content, and even the outreach you do should, majority speaking, be going to that one ideal client that you have. That way, you're going to attract more of those specific people that see value in what you're doing, and they're like, yeah, this person could help me. So that's really the second thing. The third thing I want to talk about, or the last thing, which people also do as well, is networking for lead gen. Now, I don't particularly think networking is bad, because obviously it works. However, when people are using networking as maybe a primary way to get leads, whether this be in person or maybe even online, it just doesn't feel like it's going to get you a good result, because with networking the issue is that, yeah, sure, you'll come across a lot of people, which will all be sort of there, and like a nice community. However, everyone is there pretty much for business, right? And if things don't align, which in most cases it's not, then it's just not really going to be worth your time. And I would even argue networking for LinkedIn is actually not even that good either. Because then again, with LinkedIn, everyone is there to make money, right? To make money, to get a job, pretty much the same thing, right? Everyone's there to make money. So if you're networking purely to get leads, people are going to see straight through you, and you're just not going to, just a waste of time. Right. And, to be fair, for me, I've made some like nice sort of relationships, but that wasn't through me trying to make money. It was just more through just, experience and such. I mean, I know some people like which like when I had them on my podcast, it was just a nice conversation, and, we're pretty chill now. And so instead, really, instead of actually doing this whole networking thing, I'd recommend something different, which is not doing it. And the thing is that with networking, it's the same thing again, right? For example, let's say you're trying to get leads. If you're trying to do lots of different things, then your energy and attention is going in lots of different areas, which makes it very difficult to get leads. It makes it very difficult for this to happen, which is why I would genuinely focus that if you're, like one of the biggest mistakes is really, if you're going to take anything from this, is you're doing too many different things. You just need to focus on one area. Now, obviously, I'm saying this is LinkedIn because I believe it is, but you can do what you feel is right as well. So that's really overall what I think you should do. So, what do you feel like needs to actually happen in terms of making progress with your lead gen? Well, I've actually just put together a video pretty much covering the three core areas of LinkedIn lead generation that pretty much has covered just this, which you should be able to see in the video here to watch more.